Hello everyone and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer and today we are going to be talking about all of the problems that I have with patch 7.2. So buckle your seatbelts, it's gonna be a bumpy, ranty ride. I hope that you enjoy this video and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. So just to clarify before I get into this very ranty video, I am a big fan of World of Warcraft and this video is not meant to bash the game or the developers or the community or anybody who happens to like these things about the game. I just have a big audience of people who play WoW and they ask how I feel about things, and this is how I feel about these things. And if nothing happens and the patch still comes out exactly how it is, that's fine. Like, we're all gonna live. I'm still gonna play the game. I will probably still very much enjoy the game. There are just a couple things that my research on 7.2 has kind of brought to the front of my mind that I feel like maybe if more people knew about and Blizzard realized that people weren't happy about, then maybe they would make some changes before the patch goes live. Who knows if they will or not, but just so that we're all clear, this is not me bashing anybody. I'm still going to play WoW. I love the game. The only reason I'm even offering criticism is because I like the game, so please don't think that I'm like being a negative Nancy because it's not the goal or anything like that. All in all, with everything going on in 7.2, which by the way is one of the biggest patches ever. If you aren't familiar with 7.2, I will have a link to a video here as well as in the info below of like 39 things you need to know about 7.2 that kind of TLDRs everything for you. But it's a huge, massive patch. It's bringing with it a ton of stuff. And in all of that stuff, I've found like three kind of reoccurring issues. The first one is timing. The second one is kind of punishing players for playing now and not taking a break. And the third one is inconsistent rewards. So those are the things I'm going to talk about, and I would love to hear your opinions. So after you watch the video, I would love to hear your feedback on the things that I'm saying, or if you think I'm wrong, that's totally fine. But yeah, just please don't think I'm just bashing everything because that's not the goal of this, all right? Okay. So just to start off a little bit talking about the timing. The timing of 7.2 was so weird. It was like 7.15 went live and then 7.2 was immediately on the PTR. So when they were testing some of the raids in Tomb of Sargeras, not the raids, but the raid bosses in Tomb of Sargeras, those same guilds that are testing those bosses were also working on progression in Nighthold. And I think that shouldn't really be an overlap. You shouldn't have to worry about testing one raid to have the advantage going into the next patch while you're still working on progression in the current raid. I don't think they should overlap in that way. I also think it's really difficult for anybody who does like fan sites or videos or blogs or whatever it may be to keep up on a brand new patch coming out and nearly the same day having a new patch on the PTR, especially such a massive patch on the PTR. And I just felt the timing of that was really weird. It feels like in the past couple of years, a lot of what Blizzard has done has been extremely knee-jerk. Like, oh, you said there was too much of a gap during Hellfire Citadel? Bam, there's no gaps here. And I don't necessarily think that there needs to be no gaps. I feel like things should be paced a little more fluidly because right now it feels kind of like an avalanche of content, and then I'm worried that because we're getting all this content so rapidly that maybe we will still have a stagnant period at the end of the expansion. This is a very petty complaint, and I'm certain that a lot of that is coming from my experience as a content creator and just feeling very, very overwhelmed with everything that was going on all at once. But the timing was really strange, and it wasn't just, like I said, it certainly affected people who are interested in raid testing and PTR testing to also then have to take their time away from a brand new patch on live servers. And I'm sure there was an intended reason for this, but it seemed like they could have waited like 4 or 6 weeks to come out with the PTR for 7.2 and it would have been totally fine. So I thought the timing was just really strange. Not that that's a big gripe, it's still a gripe nonetheless, all right? My next complaint is Blizzard punishing people for playing the game now and not taking a break. And I think there are two big instances of this in 7.2. So in 7.2, one of the things that people are really excited about are these new Paragon reputations, which will essentially allow you to go beyond Exalted with the Broken Isles factions and earn additional rewards. That all sounds great, except that most people who have been playing the game consistently since launch, since Legion's launch, are Exalted with all those factions already. And in doing their dailies or whatever, they're getting a lot of these rep tokens that they were either burning or they're now saving so they can use during this Paragon reputation period. And Blizzard recently announced that you would not be able to use any of those rep tokens past Exalted if you earned them prior to 7.2. And I think that is ridiculous. I say this because while I do think that this expansion is very friendly if you want to change mains, I would still argue that there is no friendliness in terms of alts. I think that there's just so much to do every day. I don't know how you could do it on more than one character unless you really had like 8 hours a day to play. I think it's a lot to keep up on, and I don't have alts that I want to send those rep tokens to. I want to save them. I want to use them on my shaman because I earned them on my shaman, and I think it's ridiculous that, you know, they don't want people to like stockpile and get ahead, which I can kind of understand. But then in the same sense, those rep tokens are only 200 each, and you need like 20,000 per Paragon prize that you get. So it seems like such a minute amount of rep to nitpick about, and it makes me not want to do my emissaries now. And I understand those are buying an account and I can send them to other characters, but like I said, I'm not playing other characters. So those are just sitting on a bank alt somewhere in case I ever decide to do it, but I have no intention of doing it. And I think that if I earn that rep, it's my rep, and I think I should be able to use it. And I just don't understand the limitation. And I think it's very much that they don't want people who took a break to feel like, oh, I'm so far behind. All these other people have this, that, and the other thing. But Paragon reputations are all just vanity stuff anyways. It's not anything that's game changing. I think if it were something that made you more powerful or got you gear or anything like that, I could understand it. But I do not understand limiting how much rep you can earn. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. I don't see any other way that it's not stupid. And I think it punishes people who are still playing the game and didn't take a break to accommodate people wwho quit your game and aren't paying a subscription fee. And I think that Blizzard should be, you know, fluffing the feathers of the people who are paying for the game. And I think it's silly that they're essentially allowing me to waste my time now, and they're going to cater to people who didn't have the time or the energy or the care to play now. And that same thing kind of goes over with artifact power, because obviously artifact power is being expanded in 7.2. You'll be able to go up to artifact knowledge like 30 or maybe even higher. I'm not sure off the top of my head. And they're also readjusting all of your points. I'm going to yawn. Excuse me. They're readjusting some points, so you will get some points refunded to you, but any artifact power that you earn right now will not be usable in 7.2. I don't understand why that is either. And I understand there are some people whose weapons are maxed out and they're wanted to save it to use in the future. And Blizzard's like, oh, well, we want you to do off specs. But I don't feel like that's Blizzard's choice to make for people. I don't understand. And once again, I feel like it's such a minute amount of artifact power. And I feel like the amount of people who would take advantage of that are such a small portion of people that to punish everyone to prevent this little tiny group of people from, you know, cheesing the system it's just really unfair, and it's really discouraging. And it feels like they're catering to people who took a break at the expense of people who were loyal and played the game the whole time. And I know that that's a very just for the record, my artifact is not maxed out, so that's not something that personally affects me, but it would certainly bother me if I was someone that it did affect, because it just seems like if I earned it, I should be able to use it. Like, why should I have to put it in a weapon I'm not going to use? Why should I have to waste it? Like, you should be able to earn the things that you use, the things that you earned. And I just don't understand either of those at all, particularly the rep one, because it's neither of them. They're stupid. It's stupid. I'm not happy about it. It's stupid. Now, the last thing that I have a problem with is a lot more in depth than the first two things that I have a problem with, and that has to do with the inconsistency of rewards. Now, when I'm talking about rewards, I'm specifically talking about class order hall campaigns and getting your 4th golden trait on your artifact and getting your class flying mount and kind of all that goes along with that, because the rewards are very unequal right now. And this isn't real life, so I could get behind separate but equal, but I really can't get behind the way this works. And just to, put this out there as something that Blizzard did say, it was stated specifically that all of the rewards, whether it be the epic class mounts or any of the additional rewards that come along with artifact weapons, will still be earnable beyond Legion. So in a world where we're not in Legion anymore, you will still somehow be able to go back and earn these rewards, and that you should not feel like if you can't get them now that you're permanently losing out on anything. So whether that means that these rewards will be easier to get in a future expansion, the same, but, whatever, or whether they'll make them more difficult. I don't know. They did say that they would be willing to reevaluate when the time comes. So it's possible that all of these things will have an easier alternative way to earn in the future, or it's possible they'll be harder. Who knows? I have a real problem with the way they're earned now. And I've got some stuff written down in front of me, so if you see me glance away, that's what I'm glancing at. But the class mounts is the best place to start. So if you go ahead and you finish your class order hall campaign, and you finish all the stuff on the Broken Shore, and you explore all the things on the Broken Shore, and you do all of Draenor Pathfinder Part 1 and a couple other things, you will earn a class flying mount, and everybody has a different one. And my issue is that some of those mounts Some of those mounts count as one journal mount, and some of them count as multiple mounts. Some of them have one color variant, some of them multiple color variants, some of them change with spec. And so the ones that count as one mount in your journal are Death Knights, Mages, Shamans, Priests, and Warriors. And all of their mounts will change color based on your spec. So when you change spec, that mount will automatically change color. It's one mount that just changes color based on your spec. You can't choose it. If you are not that spec currently, you can't use that color. That's just how it is. Then Druid forms change color based on the race, but they still count as one mount. So if you were to level 4 separate Druids to get all 4 colors, you could only use them on that color, and it still counts as one mount. You don't have to earn it more than once. But I think it's even weirder that it's locked to race instead of spec. Then on top of it, it's actually a form. It allows people to ride on their backs. It's instant cast. You're immune to polymorph because it counts as a form, and it counts in the mount journal. So I feel like Druids, it's just strange how different theirs works from everybody else's. And then Demon Hunters and Monks just straight up only have one mount, no variants, no recolors. That's just their life. And that all is just strange to me, that some change color with specs, some do not, some change color with race, some do not, some just don't have other colors. Then there are a bunch of classes that have mounts that count as multiple mounts in their mount journal, and they can use them on different specs. So hunters will receive a specific variant of their mount for each spec, but then you can purchase the additional variants after completing that spec's artifact for like order hall resources, and it doesn't matter what spec you are, you can ride any of the 3 mounts that you want, and you'll have 3 mounts in your journal. Then paladins all get the same mount, and then they'll also get a mount for each spec of artifact that they complete. And again, those aren't locked to their specs, so total, paladins can get 4 mounts, which can be used on any spec. Warlocks get the same mount. Every spec gets the same mount. Then they have an additional variant that they can unlock for completing any of their artifact weapons. Then a third variant drops off of a random boss on the Broken Shore. So I just think it's very strange how inconsistent that all is. Like warlocks get 3 mounts, paladins get 4 mounts, hunters get 3 mounts, but then everybody else only gets 1 mount, and then some of them have recolors, some of them don't have recolors. The recolors, how you earn them, are just all over the board. It's very, very strange. And then if you look at it even further, like some classes have pets that go along with these quest lines. So after you earn your epic mount and you finish Power Ascended, meaning that you got your 4th gold trait in your artifact, Death Knights can buy a pet that is specific to the artifact that they've completed. So if they've earned the red mount on their blood spec, they can also buy a little red dragon that matches. And then the pets can be summoned on any character, any class, any spec, whatever, but you can only purchase them on that spec of Death Knight that you've completed the weapon. And there's 3 total. So they can get 3 pets that can be used account wide. Then monks can purchase a pet, Ban Fu, which is the Cup of Ban Lu. But again, they don't get any mount variants, and there's no variant to the pet, and the pet can be summoned on anyone. Then all specs of Rogue get a bonus quest to earn a pet named Crackers. So it's like Death Knights have to max out weapons, and monks don't. It's just weird how they all are different. Then there's toys as well. So Demon Hunters, once they finish Power Ascendant, they can purchase the Illidari Pepe, which is a toy that's like a little Demon Hunter Pepe that sits on your head. But the toy is account wide, so you can do that, and then any of your characters can get the Illidari Pepe. And it's not a costume, so you don't have to already have Pepe. It is a separate Pepe toy locked specifically to Demon Hunters, which was so strange. Then mages can purchase a toy, which allows their whatever pet they have out fly on a little disc like theirs by completing any of their specs artifact. Again, that's account wide. Then Beast Mastery Hunters, when they complete their weapon, they can purchase a taming ability to tame beasts with wings, But any spec of hunter can use the tame once you've unlocked the tame as beast mastery. That makes no sense whatsoever. Then there are classes like shamans, priests, and warriors that just have no additional rewards whatsoever. So you've got some classes that get multiple pets, some classes get one pet, some classes get toys, and then some get nothing. It's just why? It's so weird and I don't get it. And I'm getting like kind of passionate about this because it just is really blatantly unfair. Like, if you collect mounts and pets, and I understand that you're not going to be able to get everything. Like, I get that. I get that in a game like World of Warcraft, it's not really a completionist type game. I mean, there are some people who I'm sure have gotten every achievement, but not many. And, sorry, I'm getting parched from the rage, but it just seems ridiculously unfair that some people get pets, some people don't get pets, some people get nothing, some people get one mount, some people get 4 mounts. It just... why? I'm not saying that I understand everybody's class specific. I understand everything will be a little different for every class, but it should absolutely at least be that there's the same number of variants or something. It just seems so wrong that like mages get 1 mount and paladins get 4. It seems ridiculously wrong that monks get 1 mount that doesn't even change colors. And then same thing with shamans. Shamans get 1 mount. It changes with their spec. You don't get to pick what one you want if it's not the one that you want in your spec. But then again, I also have an ethical dilemma, and I know everybody has their opinions about the mounts, and a lot of people think the shaman mount is amazing, and a big reason for that is that it has kind of this new set of animations that we've not really seen before, But apparently all these mounts were supposed to be designed by teams of people who identified as that character, right? Except that shaman lore, everything in shaman lore says that we are asking the elements for help. We don't summon them. We don't command them. I mean, I know it's called summon elemental or conjure elemental or whatever it might be, but we are asking them for help. We commune with the elements. We hope that they answer our calls, and sometimes they do. And I have a friend who plays a shaman as well, and she described it to me as like anytime that you see Thrall in a cutscene and he does something big and epic, he kind of is always like, well, that worked because he's asking the elements to help him. He's not demanding or commanding or making them do it. It's a question. And it seems so bizarre to me that we respect the elementals enough to say, hey, will you help us please? But then when you get here, we're going to put a fucking saddle on you and ride you around like a pony. Like, that's what? I could understand if the shaman mount was like an elemental who decided to take the form of a bird to bring us somewhere, and that was his choice. That's the saddle that I can't get over. It's the saddle that I can't get over. It just feels wrong. And, someone said to me, would you prefer if it was like the genie in Aladdin where he cradles you in his arms? Maybe if he was like carrying you in a ridiculous way, it would feel more consensual, but it doesn't feel like that elemental wants a saddle on his head. It just doesn't, I wouldn't do that. It seems that's just not a respectful way to treat the elements. But I know that got off on a real rant there. But why is everything so inconsistent? It just isn't fair. And I don't even think I mentioned rogues, but rogues are the same way as paladins. They get 1 mount and then they can purchase the 3 variants and then they can use them on any spec. It just, why? I can't be the only one who's upset about this because it's just, I don't even know who they're rewarding in this situation. It just seems like I have no idea. It's so weird. And I understand that they probably don't want everybody to have everybody's class mounts and whatever, but then everybody should get 1 or everybody should get multiple. It shouldn't be some people get 1, some people get multiple, some people get pets, some people get toys, some people get nothing. It's just weird and inconsistent, and I hope that they change things, because I think it's stupid that like hunters or rogues or paladins can choose to ride whatever mount they want, but someone like a death knight can't just choose the color of mount they have. A shaman can't choose their color of mount. A monk only gets 1 color and they're gonna like it, I guess. It's really odd. It's really inconsistent, and truthfully it doesn't seem very Blizzard in World of Warcraft. It seems like all these different teams made these different things and then they kind of threw them in a pot and stirred it around and hoped that it tasted okay when it was time to eat it. It seemed really like short-sighted and not well thought out, and if they had some grand excuse or reasoning for this, I would be all ears to listen to it, but with no communication as to why it's unequal, I just can't get over how unfair it is to some classes and to other classes. And I mean, like I said, don't even get me started on the shaman mount again, because I'm so sick of everybody saying that's the best mount. Like, it's the best mount if you don't care about the elements. which as a shaman, you're supposed to. I feel like that was the very Kermit meme of that's none of my business, sip. But anyways, those are my issues with 7.2. And those are, in the grand scheme of 7.2, with how much is coming in 7.2, those are all pretty limited, complaints. It's not like, oh God, this is a game breaking. Game is unplayable, right? But in the same sense, I would still love to see Blizzard take a look at that and see like how you would feel as a monk, or how you would feel as a shaman, or how you would feel as this class. Because right now it just seems like it's, like I said, like multiple teams working on things. I still think the timing of the whole patch was very strange. And I think that they're kind of rewarding people for taking breaks. And I don't want to take a break. I want to keep playing and I want to get rewarded for my play. But I would love to know what you guys think. What is your biggest gripe about 7.2, and what's your most looking for, like what are you most excited for in 7.2? Because for me, it's probably the PvP brawls. They just look like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to have kind of a valid reason to get back into PvP, even though I'm not very good at PvP. So, but again, this video was not meant to really like be super negative. It was just, I had some things on my chest and I needed to get them off my chest. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.